We are live on YouTube. How's it going, guys? My name is Jared Fuller, aka the Jared Bear. Today's date is Sunday, February 2nd, 2025. It is the first Sunday video update of February, and today is Groundhog Day. And for those of you who may not have heard, the groundhog did see its shadow. Of course, personally, I don't care if the groundhog's seen a shadow or not. It's 6 weeks of winter, irrespective of what the groundhog saw. So, um, yeah, today is Groundhog Day. My name is Jared Fuller. Joining me usually off camera is my dad, but he's in the kitchen. Amy's napping. Um, he might decide to come into the living room. He may not. I don't know yet. Um, but there are a few things to talk about in the week in review this past week. First off, if you're new here to this channel, welcome. I do a Sunday video update every Sunday at 3 o'clock Eastern Time to talk about the week in review. And um, my nickname is Jared Bear because I am a child of cancer survivor, and I got the nickname Jared Bear from uh, my battle with Wilms tumor kidney cancer, which, by the way, a month from today will be the 36th anniversary of my diagnosis with Wilms. I can't believe it's been 36 years already. It just doesn't seem like it, but it's been a long time. And yeah, so I just come on here every Sunday around 3 o'clock Eastern Time, roughly about an hour from 3 until 4, talk about the week in review. And I usually get help from my dad and his girlfriend Amy. You know, they're my right hand people. You know, so if I forget to mention something, they usually remind me, or it'll come to mind for them, and then they'll say, "Hey, Jared, you should you know mention this or say this or do that." Um, so yeah, they're like my backup. So there are a couple of things that happened last week. So Dad and I were at the Back 40. It's a local bar and grill here in town, and a good friend of ours had struck it rich with the Michigan lottery. Um, so the Michigan lottery, they had this game called Cash Pop. It's on the Club Keno game for those of you who are familiar with that. And I think what he did is he bet $10 on two numbers. So it cost him 20 bucks. For the number 2, he needed if he matched the number 2, he'd win $5,000, and if he matched the number 3, he'd win 50 bucks. You can imagine which number he matched. The number 2 was the winning cash pop number, and he sat on the at the bar stool, or he sat on the bar stool at the bar, and when 2 came up, he goes, "Yeah!" really loud on the bar. Mind you, Jerry is deaf. Um, and he has, he reads lips, but when that number came up, he just everybody heard him. He just yelled out, "Oh, yeah!" and he put his hands up, and it's like, "Well, how much you win, Jerry? How much you win?" Because his name's Jerry, and he says, and the bartender, she says he won $5,000. What? $5,000? And we were all joking around with him, bullshitting with him, and it's like, "Hey, I could take you to pick it up, but it's going to cost you about 5 grand." I joked around with him. I said, "Well, the minimum I'll go was 2,500." But we were all joking, kidding around, and but really, we were all tickled. I'm still, even when I talk, I get little goosebumps because it couldn't have happened for a more better guy. And so how that works is he'll have to go to the regional lottery claims office in Saginaw. He'll probably, he's going to have to fill out some tax forms, which there's no probably about it. He's going to be taxed on it. Um, but if he's got to set up an appointment. That's how they have that. You got to set up an appointment to fill out the paperwork. Do you want us to take it out for taxes now, or do you want to pay him at tax season, or however that works? But I'm so happy for him. I'm still almost speechless because that was one of the few things that ever happens in our neck of the woods, actually witnessing someone winning a large sum of money. Um, and it was, and he's not the first big winner out of Chesaning. There was a lucky winner from Lara's Kitchen, or Lara's Market rather. It's also known as Crispy Crunchy Chicken in Chesaning. Um, Someone had struck it rich on a scratch off, and my friend Kelly had sold that person the winning ticket. And then at Pentown, there was a big winner at Pentown on Club Keno. So there are some big winners, but very few and far between do we ever hear about anyone actually striking it rich for that kind of money, or just any large sum of money. The most money I've ever won on the lottery is $500. That's the most I've ever won, and that was on a daily 3 um, lottery ticket. Matter of fact, I will um, see what today's midday numbers were, because I like to check them every once in a while and see if my numbers came in, which I hope they didn't because I didn't play. 525 was a midday, and that was a daily 3. The daily 4 was 9433. So if anyone played 525 today, you won, depending how you played it. The Jack is currently, let's see, Club Keno, the Jack, and then they took away the 10-time kicker on Club Keno, and they added a thing called plus 3. That was just recent. And the top prize on Cash Pop, which is what our friend Jerry won the money on, that is the top prize. $5,000 is the most you can win on Cash Pop. So we are just so excited for him. We to this day, Dad and I still talk. We talked about it this morning. Or was it? No, it was yesterday morning. We talked about this yesterday morning. We were getting our cup of coffee, and he said, I'm still happy for Jerry. Good for him, man. He's just, it couldn't have happened for a better person. And I'm so happy. I'm so happy for him. Good for him. So that was one thing that happened this week. Another good thing that happened, um, well, I paid my bills. That's always a good thing. Although bills are never fun, but that's what being an adult is all about. Sometimes you just got financial responsibilities, and those have to be taken care of, and that's just the way it works. But I got some bills paid off last week, which I'm really happy about. Um, and it was on. Let's see, it was on Friday night, wasn't it, Dad? Dad, wasn't that on Friday night when Jerry won that? See, if you were in here, we would have the conversation. We were coming home. Well, after we left the back 40 on Friday night, we went over to Little Bar in Oakley. I think, no, it wasn't last night. It was the night before. Anyway, we went to Little Bar in Oakley, and we had a couple beers or whatever. And actually, no, we had one beer. And then we came back home. We were coming up the side road over here, and a deer had come out of nowhere and hit the side of Dad's truck. There was very minor damage done. We tried to look for the deer, but I think she got up and ran off. I think it just stunned her, but it was that's not so good of a instance to remember, but it was something that happened, and I hope that deer's okay. I hope Bambi's okay. So we got some comments in my chat log, which, by the way, if you are a subscriber, if you've been a subscriber for at least a week, you will be able to comment in the chat log. So today we hear from Chewing Off My Toenail. Toenail's a regular chatter who comes into my chat log, and he'll leave some, funny comments or what have you. So this week he leaves 5 comments. The first of the 5, my toenail saw its shadow, so that'll be 6 more weeks of athlete's foot. Clever. Then he says, "Last week I had a doctor appointment. The nurse couldn't find a needle to draw blood, so I used one of my sharp toenails." Stab yourself in the arm with a toenail? Toenails and guacamole adds a beautiful crunch sensation? Ew. Glad I don't eat guacamole. um, I'm just not happy until I have a toenail in my teeth. And last but not least, trust in me and stash away those gorgeous toenails. Thank you again, chewing off my toenail, for the humor. I appreciate it. And there's a link to the Fox Sunday Flashback tonight at 7 o'clock with my good buddy Dan Richards. Um, he will be taking you on a time travel back to the good old days of classic country, classic rock, and southern rock. And there will be a link where you can place your requests from anywhere in the world, as long as you're listening live from anywhere in the world. And that link in the chat will take you right to the station's on air music. So, 23, it's 810-230-9777. That's the request number. 810-230-9777, which 9777 spells out the station's call letters, WRSR. So get those requests in. My buddy Dan Richards will be happy to take your request. And he every week he plays something different, and it's something I've never heard before, and it's like, that's different. And there are weeks when I'll bring something to his attention. I'll bring a song to his attention, and he'll be like, "Yeah, you know what? I've never even heard of that before." So I was actually, it was just something new to me. It was, I never heard that song before. So we both learned something together. Um, so that's tonight at 7 o'clock. And Dan Richards, usually every week at 7 o'clock Eastern time. That's the official start time, 7 Eastern, because I'm in the Eastern time zone. For those of you who don't know, um, if the show is not preempted by Detroit Lions football, which it's not going to be now for a while because the Lions lost in the playoffs, so they won't be um, interrupting the original airtime for the show. But usually Dan goes live at 7 o'clock every Sunday. If you like classic country, classic rock, southern rock, that is the station for you. And he'll usually play it. Whatever you request, he'll play. Unless you're like Amy over here and, do you have We Are the World by, USA for Africa? No. You don't understand. You're not getting the gist of what the Fox Sunday Flashback is. You can't just request any song willy-nilly. Like, he's for sure not gonna play Tupac or Ice Cube or Snoop Dogg or any of those. That doesn't qualify as music that goes into his shows. But once in a while, like, he'll play something from the '60s, like Brown Eyed Girl by Van Morrison, or The Letter by the Box Tops, or, one of those oldie but goodie songs. And it's like, I didn't think I'd ever hear you play that song because, but I guess some of it qualifies as classic rock, although I think The Letter by the Box Tops and the other one I mentioned, I forgot already. Um, Brown Eyed Girl by Van Morrison. I think that's more pop music than classic rock, in my opinion. Um, Classic rock, when I hear the phrase classic rock, I'm thinking like Led Zeppelin, or Alice Cooper, or um, who else is there? Jethro Tull. The Beatles had some heavy stuff like Helter Skelter, and even back in the USSR was, I think at the time, I mean, they were more of a pop group than anything, the Beatles were, but they had some heavy songs that would qualify for the show. But they're when I think of classic rock, I'm thinking like Led Zeppelin and those groups like Van Halen, and The list just goes on and on. Tom Petty, Bob Dylan, even although Bob Dylan was a is a pop singer, some of his songs are still played on the flashback. Um, but yeah, Dan plays a wide variety. Sometimes he'll go outside of the bounds of the format of the show, and he'll surprise me. He'll play something that I haven't heard in ages, or he'll play a song that I didn't think would qualify on his show, like, 96 Tears by Question Mark and the Mysterians. He played that, like, 2 or 3 weeks ago, and I'm just sitting there listening like, "Really? 96 Tears, Dan? You're gonna play 96 Tears? That's an oldie but goodie." I didn't know that that would classify as classic, rock. And, most of the music back then was pop, but the Beatles were rock and roll. I mean, they were rock and roll. Huey Lewis and the News, of course. Billy Joel was rock and roll, and most of them were. Um, yeah, there are just so many of them back in the day. But yeah, listen tonight at 7 o'clock, and you'll kind of get the idea of the music that Dan plays, and most, if not all of it, is by request. Um, because there's a song that Dan I know for sure Dan likes because I see Dan weekly or I talk to him at least once or twice a week. And there is a song by a Canadian group called the Kings, and it's called Switching to Glide. This beat goes on. That's one of Dan's favorite songs. And he plays it on occasion every week. He might play it tonight. Ooh, excuse me. He might play it tonight. It just depends. Um So, let's see, we don't have water again. We had water for a short time. The what happened was our well house caught on fire, and there's nothing keeping the bladder tank warm outside, so now the pipes are freezing in, under the ground, and they are frozen again. We had water periodically for a short time, and then now we don't have water again. So, it's been kind of rough. We have some ideas on how we would like to build a new shed or a new wow house for the bladder tank out there. Dad wants to get some OSB because we've got insulation, I think, around here somewhere, like rolls of a big roll of insulation. And Dad wants to get some OSB, and he wants to um, have a door, just a regular door you can just open it, walk in, do what you got to do. Someone had suggested, a cousin of mine has suggested that we get a shed and we get one of those propane style wall heaters, which we had one in here at one time. Matter of fact, it was right up here, right, right here. It would hang on our wall. I bought it and it was like a $300 wall heater, but we took that out. I don't even know what happened to that. Um, I'm not sure. I don't remember what happened to it. But anyway, um, a cousin of mine has suggested if we get a shed and we insulate it and um, get a wall heater and have like a 100-pound propane tank to keep that well house warm during the wintertime, that would be fine. That would work out great. Um, but Dad doesn't want to get a tin shed because tin it would get cold in the wintertime. But then again, if you have a wall heater, it wouldn't matter. But yeah, we're thinking of ways to get that new well house put in because the well house that caught on fire, it was actually here when we moved in this house 27 years ago. So it's time for an upgrade. So we're gonna get that squared away, and hopefully we'll make a huge, huge difference because that little well house out there, it just wasn't cutting it. So we got to do something different. We got to shake things up a little bit, and hopefully it'll make a difference. Um, Plans this week, I don't know. I don't know if we're going to Pine Run tomorrow night for the Monday flashback. I don't know. Um, We got taxes, property taxes that are due on the 14th of February, and we got another propane bill that's due on March 2nd, and but that's not until March, so we got plenty of time to get that bill paid. But we've got the money for our property taxes, which, those are due on February 14th, on Valentine's Day. Um, so that's a little over a week away, about 12 days away. And then, we'll be caught up on property taxes and, of course, the propane, we'll get that paid. But I'm pretty sure that's all we have going this week. Maybe I don't know what Dad is planning on doing tomorrow. I know I gotta get a new alternator for my car because, I think the alternator's bad. I had a battery replaced. I mentioned that, I think, a week or 2 ago in the Sunday video. Cost me about $110 to get the battery replaced, and a new alternator is gonna cost roughly about 140, and I'm not looking forward to that, but I gotta have reliable transportation. Um, Matter of fact, I could probably price an alternator right now. Um, Alternator, whoops, for I think it's an '05 Chevy Trailblazer. I think it's an '05. AutoZone, they're only 60 bucks? Really? Wow. Hey, Dad, should we check around to AutoZone? I don't know if that's used though. Here's a alternator, an AC Delco Gold alternator for that's for a 334 2211 at AutoZone. Tw No, it's not the right one. Damn, I was hoping. Um, okay, this is mine. '05 Chevy Trailblazer alternator auto part premium. 115 bucks at Parts Geek. Um, yeah, they're not cheap. They're not cheap. Um, we'll figure it out. Um, they're they're not cheap, but they're not gonna be $200-300. Um, I'll just have to see what my bills will be for March, other than um, the the propane bill. I couldn't think. Duh. But yeah, so that's where I'm at right now. Just it's something that happens, you got when you own a vehicle, you have repairs. That's just something that comes with the territory when you own a vehicle. You just got to keep up with the maintenance, and then you got to keep the insurance paid, and then you got to put gas in it, and then you just money, 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 money. So, I'm not political. Okay. I've made that clear any number of times on this channel. Although I do have some opinions about voting and people who are complaining about the way things are. And I always say, well, if you voted for your favorite cheerleader to get elected, they're fucking things up. You got no one to blame but yourself for voting them in. Um, I don't know. I stay home on election day. I'm not even registered to vote. But there are a lot of things already happening. Um, with Trump is back in office, and it's already looking like a shit show. Elon Musk is a part of the boys club now, as I call it. Um, it's almost like you have to he has to pay people to be his friend, Elon Musk. It's just weird as fuck. Um, but we have this I don't it's a circus at the White House, and I'm a fan of the circus, I enjoy the circus. Um, but this is a shit show going on in Washington. Um, but people say, "Well, if you don't vote, you can't complain." Well, I can complain about the mess you created that I had nothing to do with. Thank you very fucking much. Um, it's just when people vote and then later on bitch about the way things are going and what Trump wants to do, and it's like, well, if you voted for him, he's in there. He's already fucking shit up. And these people who are gullible and they got their heads in the sand and they think, oh, Trump's putting tariffs on all these other countries. That's no big deal. Well, it's a huge deal because now they can place retaliatory tariffs, which means that everything is going to go up for us. Uh, it's a shit show. It is a fucking shit show. And you people who have been seduced by this MAGA cult, uh, it's a fucking shit show of epic proportion. I'm not Republican. I'm not Democrat. I'm just a human being. I call it like I see it. Y'all voted. You got no one to blame but yourselves. Case closed. Um, Meanwhile, I'm sitting at home laughing at the people who are bitching about this mess happening. But politics, government, it's never perfect. You'll never get to a perfect point ever with politics or with government. Uh, but you picked them. You picked them. I didn't. I stayed home on election day. I didn't go anywhere. Actually, I didn't stay home on election day. I went down by the township hall, my local township hall, just to laugh at all the gullible fucks who continue to elect people who don't give a fuck about them. That's pretty much my stance on that. And as much as I want to, point this out on Facebook, I would be running a risk of, like people like coming at me in my comment section. And it's like, I just won't speak politics on Facebook. But here, oh, of course. Of course. Although I'm very apolitical, but that doesn't mean that I don't pay attention. I watch for the entertainment. People are just fucking stupid. People are stupid. Um, I you know I didn't vote for this guy. I didn't participate. So you know what? You can't get mad at me for um. Well, Jared, you should have voted because if it would have helped to tilt the whatever you call it, the needle. It would have made the needle go back in the other direction. No, it wouldn't have. No, it wouldn't have. It wouldn't have made not one bit of difference. Um, and people say, "Well, Jared, you didn't vote in this election, so that means you vote for Trump." No, I vote for no one. You know, I vote for the Pillsbury Doughboy. Actually, that motherfucker makes some good biscuits. uh, I don't it's just it's very difficult for me to take any of this shit seriously. Um, and I should take it seriously because politics affects our daily lives. Um, but I just I don't participate in it. It's like whatever. Y'all are fucking nuts. Um, I don't participate in a broken, a system that doesn't work for everybody. And you just keep electing these people who don't give a shit about you. They don't know you. They don't give a fuck about you. They know you only on paper. They know your name. They got your social security number, your birth date. They know where you live. They've got all of that information about you. As far as knowing what your favorite color is or what favorite flavor of ice cream you have or you choose, they don't give a fuck. They don't know you. They don't care about you. And as oh, I forget his name, Malice, Michael Malice, he doesn't vote And his message is, you asked for it, you showed up at the voting booth, you put this prick in charge, you voted for this motherfucker to take charge. Now that he has, that's your own fault. You got what you asked for. Now look. So, um a lot of people will be, "Oh, Jared, you're just wrong and you're just asleep." Yeah, maybe I am, but it's not like I'm gonna change anything. It's not like you're gonna change anything. The government does what it wants, whenever it wants, and that's that's it. What are you gonna do? I don't pay attention. Urban Cowboys on CMT right now. It's that scene where Sissy and Bud are having a little argument at the kitchen table, and he says, "There's just certain things a man expects his wife to do when he comes home from work. Clean the house and cook a meal and make good love to him." And she looks up at him and he says, "Look, I know that's good, okay, but it ain't enough." It's funny. Go clean up, pig. I love that movie. Of course, I have to mute it because I don't want to get a copyright strike on my live stream. So everything has to be muted. TV, radio, music of any kind, it's got to be muted because I don't need to get a copyright strike on my channel. But anyway, back to what I was saying about politics because I was kind of distracted by the movie. Basically, in a nutshell, I just don't participate. And most people are like, well, Jared, you think you're so smart because you don't participate. Why? What's the point? They're going to do what they're going to do anyway, right? These people don't know you. And George Carlin even said this at one point. He says, you continue to elect these rich cocksuckers who don't give a fuck about you. They don't care about who you are or your existence. They don't care. And he's right. They don't care. So if they don't care, why should I? It's not like you're going to stop them anyway. But I think I made my point there. That's my dog Luna. That's my girl sitting on or laying on the couch, huh? Huh, Luna Boona. Huh, Luna Boona. Luna Boona 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 Luna Boona Boona. She's just looking at me like, fucker, don't talk to me. Yeah, last week you guys were really barking up a storm and interrupting my live stream because we had company last week. And Dell's a really good friend of ours. And he would take the shirt off his back for anybody. Just like our buddy who he won all that money on the lottery on Friday. He is just a phenomenal. I have, it's amazing. I was telling Dad last week when we were coming home from Oakley. I said, it's amazing. I said, I have like people know me. I have friends like scattered everywhere. A lot of people know me, but I don't have a close knit circle of friends that I hang with on a daily. Like I don't have people friends reaching out to me or saying, "Hey, let's go have a beer," or "Hey, let's go hang out for a couple hours." I don't have a close circle of friends. I go on Facebook and I see that kind of thing. Like my friends, they have their same circle of friends they hang with and they go have drinks and they hang out, go fishing or whatever. Um, I don't have that for myself. I don't have a close circle of friends. Amy doesn't have a close circle of friends. She has friends, sure. We've all got friends, our own friends, or we'll introduce our own friends to, you know, each other or whatever, however, whatever the case may be. But um, we don't have like a group, our own groups of friends or our own cliques of friends that we hang with, which I kind of enjoy that because I see how people behave in certain cliques. Um, Now, but when they're by themselves, entirely different people. But when they get around two, three, four, five other people, then their attitude is different. How they, their body language changes, and they do it just to maintain position in that particular clique. So that's why I'm kind of glad that I run alone because I don't have to change for anybody. If I don't like something or someone, I'll say it. I don't like it. I don't like what you're doing, and that's that. But I think that's why I run alone because I make no secret of it. When there's something I don't agree with, I'll speak up and say, "Hey, I don't agree with it," or "I don't really like this person." I mean, if I don't like somebody, I'll just avoid them or try to avoid them at all costs. I don't really need to vocalize who I like and don't like, although I've done that numerous times in the past. But now I just try to avoid them altogether and not deal with those people. They are of no importance or significance to me or my life, so I just keep them over there, away from me. Now, my dad, he used to have a circle of buddies that he would hang with, like my uncle Rick, and he had all kinds of friends he used to go drinking with and hanging with, and but not so much now. I don't know. We're kind of l we're I would say we're kinda like lone wolves out here, because we don't have that network of friends that we can go and hang with, and I don't have any friends calling me up saying, "Hey, Jared, wanna go have a beer?" Or, "Hey, well, let's go hang out for about an hour and just shoot the shit," or whatever. "Okay, yeah." Nope. What I do is I continue to this day, I reach out to cancer warriors and survivors and their families, and I write letters, and I do what I do in that regard. I'm not an advocate. Most people are still referring to me as an advocate for cures. I'm not. Um, it's been 6 years now since I said, "Fuck this shit. I'll be happy just being a survivor, and, um, I'll make do with that." But other than that, I don't know. I don't participate in a lot of things anymore because it's a shit show, and people behave differently when they know that they've got the power, or they're getting all the attention, and they're getting all the publicity and the popularity, and they act different. They let it go to their heads. And, when you call the child a cancer demographic a community, I think you're just, you know, at this point, you're you're looking for a fire to start. Um, because I don't view it as a community. I haven't viewed it as a community for the longest time. There are people who just they let it go to their heads too much. And I don't like how things are being conducted, and somehow we've elected this childhood cancer advocacy hierarchy, and the rest of us are just down here, and all the elite advocates are at the top, like at CureFest and all that stupid shit. I don't buy into that shit. And there's another group of people that I do not associate with. They can all go to fucking hell. Oh, and by the way, I'm an atheist. I don't really talk about that much on Facebook, if at all. But I make it known here on my YouTube channel. I guess it's just one of the many things that you're going to have to learn about me at one point or another. People still ask me, "Are you a believer? Are you a believer?" I don't answer because I know that it's going to lead to either the end of a friendship, a healthy friendship, or it's going to lead to more preaching and lecturing. And it's like, I really don't want to talk about this. I really don't want to get into this with you. Um, and it's the same with politics. It's why I keep politics off my Facebook. It's just a conversation that never ends. And that's where most of the fighting starts because you get differing viewpoints and differing opinions. And then I mean, these aren't just friendships that happen overnight. These are friendships that were, they were 30, 40 years worth of friendship. And now that you have a difference of opinion, whether it be politics or religion, you're gonna throw away a friendship after all these years? It's sad. It really is sad. And myself, I'd rather not, unless somebody's watching this from my Facebook and they know that I'm an atheist or whatever, it doesn't matter, but it might be a big shocker for most people who weren't otherwise aware, and but, I don't convince people to, I'm not trying to convert people into my way of thinking, but I do share my ideas, um, whether it be politics or religion. I don't pray, I don't vote, I don't sit and do a little magic trick with my hands. It just doesn't work. Whatever will be, and that's it. Can't help a lot of things. So I'm just kind of in the back. I'm in the back seat. And I'm just along for the ride until I'm not anymore. But no one's coming in chat. I don't know why, like, my chat got really quiet. Toenail is probably the only one who ever comments every week. There's 3 people currently watching. I'm probably one of those 3. I don't know how YouTube does that, but oh, now there's 2 people watching. I think I pissed somebody off. Oh, fucking well. Uh, hmm. Just gonna check a couple things here. We got about 20 minutes left of the show, and then I go back to my normal life as I know it today. Um, yeah, this everything happens for a reason. Punchline just doesn't fucking work either. Everything happens for a reason. Yeah. Um, the reason I'm single, which I pointed out last week, is because I don't like to be used. I don't want a woman who's just going to use me um, to get a free place to live. And that's basically what it was. And now she's on to the 4th or 5th guy. I don't fucking know. Um, I don't want to be used. I don't want to be used because there's no love there. If you're just going to be with somebody to get a free roof over your head and not lift a finger to do anything, and no, I just I don't need someone like that in my life. I'm happy being single. I'm happy not having children. It, I'm just I'm comfortable, and I understand Valentine's Day is coming up, and there are times when it's like, I really wish I had somebody to, special for me, someone to call my own. There are times when I wish that I had somebody, but the need for another person like that, it comes and goes. Like, it's only a temporary need. Um, I don't I'm not longing for a lifelong partner, like, I need oxygen kind of a thing. I need oxygen to live. I don't need another person constantly in my life. I just kinda like to do things on my own, and, you know, I I've learned how to be a loner. I just like the idea of being by myself. I mean, I live with dad and Amy, of course, um, but, like, to have a lover, no, no. I'm good with not having a lover. I'm perfectly okay with that. Um, I thought it would be cool to have somebody in my life until I found out that she was just a using piece of shit, and she went bye-bye. She the day that we made this relationship official, she wanted to move into my house. And it's like, "Wait a minute, we just made the relationship official, like, 5 minutes ago, and you're already wanting to move in together and get a place? What the fuck are you doing?" Um, and then her friend is doing damage control. and she's trying to make it sound as though this girl that I was with isn't nearly as bad as I know that she is. And she says, "You don't know jack shit about her." Oh, but sweetheart, I do. I do. See, you shouldn't underestimate me because you're gonna be wrong at every fucking turn. I know more about this girl than you do. And I don't care how long you've been friends with her. I see what she's up to. And of course, this friend of hers who's defending her, she's only 18. She's got, I think, a 2-year old. When the guy found out that this girl was pregnant with his baby, he ran like a coward. And so there's a story with that. So she's going to defend someone who's just being a using ass piece of shit. And I'm not going to. Hey, Dad, what you doing? But I'm happy, being single. And oh, before I forget, today is the last day of Zunder Snowfest out in Frankenmuth. Another year I didn't make it out to Snowfest. Um, that's okay. Uh, well, that's the point. It's got to be cold for the ice and the snow to hold together. Um, yeah. For those of you who don't know, Zunder Snowfest is an ice carving and snow sculpting competition. Yeah, they do all kinds of cool shit out there in Frankenmuth. Another year I didn't attend. I haven't been out to Zunder Snowfest in ages. Um, Another year that I didn't make it, and next year will probably be no different. Um, but anyway, yeah, so I don't mind being single after having gone through the shit that I just went through about a week or two ago. Um, I like being single, not having kids. I am free to do whatever I want when I want. And boy, is it nice not having that responsibility. Because I don't hate kids. I'm just happy that I didn't bring any into this fucked up world I live in. Um, and people send me pictures of their new babies all the time, and it's like, what do you want me to say? Do I congratulate her for having unprotected sex? Do I congratulate the baby's daddy for not wearing a condom? What do you want me to say? Well, it's a new addition to our family. So, what does it got to do with me? Um, well, I thought you'd be happy. Well, what am I happy for? It's not my child. What the fuck do I care? You threw your life away on a kid. Good for you. Now you have fun paying for it. So I'm okay with that. You go on and have your little, extra mouth to feed and stress about where you're gonna get the next meal from, and and throw a pity party because, oh, I can't get that tattoo I wanted for $75 because now I got to spend it on diapers and formula. Yeah, it's called being a parent. If you lay on your back and make a baby, you got to take care of that kid. That's part of the deal. Um, and hey, why don't you make that skeezy ass boyfriend, baby daddy of yours, get off his ass and get a job and help support the child? I deal with that a lot too. They come to me whining and belly aching because, oh, I can't get him off his ass to do anything. So what do you want me to do about it? It's not my kid. What do you want me to do? Um, you know, use your mouth other than for blowjobs. You know, speak up and tell them, get off your fucking ass, get a job, or I'm taking my baby and we're leaving. And then the child support, well, that'll come later. Um, but I don't have that problem, and I thank my lucky stars. I give myself a pat on the back. Good job, Jared. You didn't fall into this never-ending fucking cesspool of problems. Um, there's always I think though as a man, I think there's always a part of me who wanted a kid or a couple of kids to continue on with my name and like an extension of me, just to continue on, and I might have grandkids someday or whatever. But I do a lot of thinking. See, and that's not popular. It's not cool with people of this day and age. People don't think. They don't think they don't think in long term. I do. It's like, yeah, having kids at one time would have been awesome, but I look at the world around me. I see how expensive things are. I mean, a dozen of eggs. Let's get real here. Everything has gone up. Why would I want to add more extra stress when I'm having a hard enough time as it is taking care of myself? Well, yeah, yeah. Why would I want to add that level of complexity to my life and make things harder than they have to be? If I can't take care of myself, which I do, but I'm saying as a hypothetical, if I can't take care of myself, why would I want to bring another mouth to feed into this world, knowing that I can't take care of myself? My priorities aren't straight, and again, hypothetically, if my priorities aren't straight, what the fuck business do I have bringing a kid into this world? And I think that's the message that most of these young people don't understand. You want to have your cake and eat it too. Well, that's not how the real world works. When you have a kid, you have to support that child. Kids are expensive as fuck. And it's not just the housing, it's not just the clothing, it's not just the food. Well, you got college tuitions. If your kids go to college, it's medical bills. If you fall out of love with your partner, well, there's child support. You're gonna get taken for a fucking ride, and not to mention that even when your kids get older, they're gonna wanna borrow money from dad or mom. Who wants that? The money you have, you should want for yourself. I never asked my dad for money. Yeah, yeah. I don't have ki I never ask I don't ask my dad for money. I don't ask dad for anything really, because usually I can get it myself, but dad always offers it, which I still owe you 20 bucks, by the way. But, um, it's it's not like when we were growing up. I'm gonna be 39 in July, and yes, I can say that with confidence. It's not like when I was growing up. Everything was cheaper. I mean, my mom and dad busted their asses. They worked their fingers to the bone. And, there were things that, we had to improvise a lot. Like, there were things I might have wanted as a kid that other kids got, and I couldn't get it because mom and dad couldn't afford it. So, I years later, I found this love for writing. And now I'm like the easiest person you could ever buy for. Get me journal books, get me ink pens, give me, reams of paper, get, anything. Get me ink for my printer here. I do a lot of writing and printing things off, but I usually get these things myself. I don't have the problem of staying awake most nights thinking to myself, how the fuck am I going to feed a kid that I wasn't prepared to have? And like, who wants that? I don't. I mean, if you got truckloads of money and you can afford to pay for a kid, more power to you. Have at it. But not all of us, and this was a headline just recently on the news that the population is like, well, there's people out there, young people are not wanting to bring children into the world. The percentage of kids who don't want kids is high, and that's a problem. Why is it a problem? Because we're not reproducing, we're not bringing new humans into the world to fund the social security system when they get older and, they're older and able to work. It becomes a problem because then the social security But here's the thing, there's always gonna be people. The world is never gonna stop running out of people. It will never stop. Um, People enjoy fucking too much. They enjoy sex too much, so they're never gonna stop bringing new humans into the world. There's always gonna be new people coming in and older people going out, if that's the general idea, although it doesn't always work that way. But, yeah, there's just so much at stake. There's so much riding on the wall, you know? I mean, when you have a kid, I mean, that takes up all of your time. Your life becomes your kid. And that's another reason. Like there's friends out there I used to talk to almost daily. Then they had a kid, I just stopped talking to them because it's like, well, you know what? Your life is now all about that kid and you're rubbing it in because you got this baby, treating it like a new car or a new piece of furniture, which is fucking equally as annoying as, you know, every day. I have a cousin on Facebook every day just post her baby, 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 every fucking post. And it's like it's a baby. Okay, you didn't. It's not a new house. It's not a new fucking car. It's not a new piece of furniture. It's not a four slicer toaster. It's a baby. It's you didn't use protection and you had unprotected sex and now you have a baby. That's what that is. And I'm supposed to be happy for you because you threw your life away on a kid? Yeah, I don't know. It's all too complicating for me, and I'm just glad that I never had kids. I'm gonna be 40 next year. I'm happy with the fact that I didn't get stupid and put myself in a lifetime of debt over another human being. Fuck that. You people can use my child voucher. Here, you can have it. I don't want it. I just like to live life where I wanna do what I wanna do when I wanna do it. Um, no responsibilities of raising kids, no partner breathing down my fucking neck telling me that I gotta be here and do this and do that. No offense, Amy. Uh, um, but no, I don't have that. I don't have that kind of it's not to say that my dad doesn't enjoy doing those things for Amy, obviously. I mean, they're a couple, they've been together for over 20 years. That's love. My dad would do anything for Amy. But me, it's like I kinda just like to get away by myself sometimes and just relax, might go up to the bar and have a beer or go down to, Parselberg and just sit next to the river with my journal, or just get in my car and get the fuck out of here for a couple hours, go down to Lansing or Detroit or somewhere, it's just on a joyride just to get the fuck away. Um, I can do that because I don't have all this other added shit, you know? I don't have parental responsibilities. I'm not a husband. I'm not a boyfriend. I'm free. I'm free of all that. And a lot of these, the female friends I have, their boyfriends and husbands won't let them play with me anymore. Because, I'm the escaped slave bringing news of freedom. Uh, does it get lonely? Yeah, sometimes. Yeah, of course. It gets lonely, but I make do. I'm okay. So we have reached the 4 o'clock hour. My name is that hour goes by quick, doesn't it? My name is Jared Fuller, aka the Jerry Bear. Thank you so much for indulging me for the past hour. I will be back next week on Sunday, February 9th, 2025. Dad, was there any final words you wanted to add before we go? Stay warm. Amy, how about you? Peace out, be safe, and stay warm. I'll echo what they say. Peace out, be safe, stay warm, and be kind to one another and check on your neighbors and just be kind to each other. That's Yeah, and keep your animals inside when it's really super cold. Um, that's all anybody really asks. Just spread the love and the peace. That's all. And I will see you next week. Take care, guys. Have a good one.